music. Yeah.
Milsurp Garage. All right, everyone. We are in action here at the Milsurp Garage. I gotta plug in my phone here. Hold on. I totally forgot how to do these videos. There we go. We got some power now. Now nothing can stop us. Alrighty, what do we have here? Where are my notes? I don't even know what it is. I have to look at my notes to even know what this is. This is the Dreyse Model 1907. That's what it is. Take a look. Take a good look. It's old. It's crusty. It's made in Somerda. I said that like it's Spanish, but wild looking, right? Let's get to the bottom of this guy. This Dreyse name, I think I'm pronouncing that right with the little, inflection there. It was a household name back in the day. When I'm talking about the day, I'm talking about like the 1800s into the 1900s, early 1900s. Dreyse was a household name because the guy who it's named after, whose name is Johann Nicholas von Dreyse, this guy lived from 1787 to 1867. So you can see that guy had nothing to do with this gun, obviously, because this thing is a model 1907. It's really just kind of like in name only. But what this guy, why this was like such a household name, why the name was something that like would carry on even way after his death, and that a company would want to be named Dreyse even after he's long gone, is because of the innovations that this guy, Johann Nicholas von Dreyse, has bestowed upon like the firearm community here. So back in 1824, he began work on a gun, on a rifle that began production in 1836. So this thing was even 12 years in production. It was called a needle gun, the Dreyse needle gun. And these needle guns, it's before kind of like my interest in guns, but just from what I've read or what I take from it, it was, you know how you had like the, after percussion caps, they moved into an area where you had like a self-contained cartridge, let's say, but the firing pin, instead of hitting a primer, the firing pin would actually have to kind of like enter into an area that would be like, whatever, maybe like just like a powder where the needle would actually, the firing pin would be called a needle, and it would actually have to enter into this powder to set it off. So it was kind of like a bridge between, like, say, percussion caps, where now you had firing pins, but they weren't really primers yet to set off the main charge. It's kind of like that needle went into a powder to set that off, to set off the main charge. And these things were called needle guns. I mean, I'd have to do a lot of research on my own to like kind of like fine-tune that explanation down, but that's basically what it was. It was called an ignition needle rifle, Untitled Chapter. And these things were revolutionary and a claim to fame. Not that I'm obviously not doing a video on this rifle, but just wanted to explain why this Dreyse name carries through to a gun long after that guy's gone, because there was a company that actually just bought this name. And that Dreyse rifle was the first breech loading rifle to use the bolt action to open and close the chamber by turning and pulling a bolt handle. So it's basically like the first bolt action gun ever. So that page of my notes can go in the trash now. So now this guy, there was a company, this thing was designed by Louis Schmeiser, who was a well-known weapon designer, you know, of his time. His sons were well-known weapons designers. And this Dreyse company in Germany adopted the Mauser in 1872. So that Dreyse company was in decline. And then plus this guy died. John Nicholas von Dreyse died in 1867. So in 1872, Germany adopted the Mauser. So Dreyse was just kind of like drying up, Dreyse up. And that company was acquired by, okay, here we go, Rheinische Metallwaren Maschinenfabrik Samurda. And that was in 1901. So in 1901, they acquired this name. And here's the company. And they started making some guns. Now, what's cool about this guy is it has a really interesting type of slide. You look at this and you say, obviously, you know, 1907, this was kind of like the beginning of semi-automatic pistols, okay? This is well before even World War I here. And, you know, we're just starting with, you know, smokeless powder here. And semi-automatic guns. There was no 1911 yet. You know what I mean? It's like, this was the beginning of it all here. And as you can see, this thing might actually look familiar to you. Let me see if I wrote this down. See, this is the kind of stuff I wanted to start to write down, but didn't really get into this. Oh, by the way, these were never officially imported here. Officially, the reason why some of these show up is because they were used as long as like well into World War II by the Volkssturm and the Volksgrenadier late in World War II. So I think those were like the German forces that were kind of like when they started like putting their, towards the end of the war, when they started like forcing their civilians into like, you know, wartime effort stuff. These are the things that they were like handing out to them. But they were very popular for, you know, for a long time, like well into World War II. As you can see, these things were still around. They were still used. They were still popular. And they look like that Browning. I don't have one of those. See, and that's, I don't have that written down. But it was the Browning 1900, right? Wasn't it? The FN 1900? And that was kind of like what they kind of like copied it, like in a way, when they made this. But they had to like kind of work around patents that Browning had, you know. So it's kind of like looks the same, but it's kind of like a little different. Look, you can see like right away it's odd on the top, right? And what it is this slide isn't really it looks like maybe this whole thing up here would slide back. It doesn't. The grip, where you would grip it, is here. And they call this the bar, and it's kind of like the top of this barrel assembly here moves, only the barrel stays fixed in there. And this is kind of like the bolt, but it's connected, solid connected. It's all just one piece. I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna see if I could take this thing apart for you. It's not that easy. Let me see if I can find my tool even. I made something to, yeah, here it goes. We're a little out of practice with these videos here. You got to bear with me. But you need a tool to take this thing apart that kind of fits over here, pushes this in. We'll see. We'll mess with it later. But let's take a look at some of the features. What do we have here? So yeah, it's semi-automatic. We rack it by reaching up here. You can see an extractor bar running down the middle of the bolt there. So, and this back here is your safety, right there. This back here if you flip this, well, let's see, I can't remember now. Lift the magazine out, pull the trigger. This kind of hinges like an AR, right? So you have the trigger group here, right? And you have like the bolt and like the action up here and it pivots. Very, very reminiscent of an AR, right? Interesting. And a detachable magazine here. 32 caliber. This one is 7.62. Browning in Europe, of course. These are my snap caps here. My realistic snap caps. Big supporter of this channel. These are inert rounds, so that we can show function. So yeah, I'll throw 4 of them in here. Interesting release. I like this release in that it's like kind of like the squeezing motion to take the magazine out hits the release. See, the release is in that recess right there. So it's like where your thumb would go just to squeeze the magazine. So it's basically, you don't have to press something different to pull it out. You just kind of go to pull it out, and it just, you're automatically depressing the release. I kind of like that. And then we can see here, little chamber one. And very smooth action. You can see here, like ejection and the slide movement, very smooth. They're definitely known for that. Check out if you're interested in these realistic snap caps. These things are excellent for doing just what I'm doing right here. I will leave a link in the description to check these things out. Huge supporter of this channel. I love them. And yeah, we're all over the place here. Let's see. Want to take this thing apart? Let's take it apart. I got to sit down. This is not easy, and I'm really just winging this. I filmed the intro and the outro to this video months ago, and I've been reading all of your guys' comments, just lurking in the background. And somebody today commented something like, enjoy your retirement. Are you enjoying your retirement? I was like, you know what? I got to make that video. I'm not quite retired just yet. But I'll tell you one thing, though. This is a pain in the ass. Let's see. You know what? Let's make it easier. Let's get in here. Let's get in here and get this out. Huh? What do you say? Because I think, yeah, let's dry fire it. And then when we take this out, we just separate that. So this just here just comes like, you know, straight out. I like these grips, right? You know what these grips, when you look at the material, you know what these grips, what the material is? It's called horn. You know, and you might be like, oh, what is that? Some kind of plastic? Horn plastic? No. It's horn. Some animals' horn. So yeah, this is the extractor, and then here is the ejector. And you see there's a screw there. You see how there's like a, you can take that out of there. So it's good for military use, you would think, just because, and look, striker fired. You can see the striker right here. You can see it. And back there, there's a loaded, not a loaded chamber indicator, but a cocked indicator. When it's cocked, you'll see that stick out the back. So here, you want this to be dry fired, like uncocked and separated here. Now there's this ring up here. You see it around the barrel that you have to depress, and at the same time lift this up, and then you relax that spring. So you see there must be a special tool that like an armorer would have for doing that with this gun, but taking it apart isn't so bad, but putting it back together, you might not see this gun go back together at the end of this video because it's hard, and if it slips, this is a doozy of a spring right here, and it will shoot this piece. I remember I spent like half an hour looking for this piece at one time. My shop here is like it's like a serial killer incubator here. There's like stuff all over the place, and if something like that shoots, you hear it go bing, 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 clunk, and then you got to listen to that last noise that it makes, because you got to get some kind of clue as to where it is, or you'll never find it. I've never officially lost anything in here, but I came close with this piece, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I wish I had one of those boxes that like you put your hands in, like when they would work with nuclear material or something, so that, and with the rubber gloves, so that even if something shoots out, it's just in that little boxed enclosure. If I could find one of those, that would be pretty cool. Like some closed down chemical lab. All right, let's move on. So here's the slide here. You see how, well, I'm going to call it the slide. They call it the bar. And you see how if you get it just at the right angle, it comes right out all on its own. All its own piece, you see? So then you have the barrel, which is kind of like bonded into here, you know? And this receiver part is the feed ramp right there. And then you have this part, which gets a little interesting now, because you have the extractor here, which you could just lift right out. You gotta be careful when you take this apart, you don't lose this. Just if you have one of these and you're going along with me here, you got to be careful of that, because you'll look down and you'll be like, oh, after you take it out, you'll be like, wait, where's that part? You know, it's easy for it to fall, and you don't even know that it was not officially connected anymore. Another interesting thing is, look here, the breech face. Is that what it's called? It's just, it's removable. It's removable, exchangeable. It's almost like a wear item. That's why I definitely wouldn't want to go, you know, crazy with any high-powered .32 ammo with this thing. And then, of course, very reminiscent to the Mauser 1914 here. If you remember that video, I had this had broken off the inside of here, and I had to make up, I used a nail to like actually make this piece, not bonded on anymore, but just floating in there, and that worked. But similar designs, like the Germans liked this type of striker, but these are very susceptible here to wear here, so that would be like the sear, you know, and the spring fits inside there and runs through the channel here. So yeah, so that's the striker, which is held in by this, let's get that ox hair over there. Nice, huh? Interesting. Let's do a little wipe down here before reassembly, because hopefully you can't get in there to wipe that again once it's back together. If we put it together here, together, I certainly don't want to have to do it again to clean it. Is that right? Didn't seem to fall into place properly. That is correct. That goes there. And this should just drop flush. There we go. And then that's flush in there. Then we go right in there. And this is one of the smoothest feeling movements of all firearmdom. By the way, when I got this thing, I think I'll slip a photo in here. I'm pretty sure I have one of. It was so. This thing was modded. That's the word to use, modded. Just had a lot of, not really corrosion, but just gank going on the top here, on this surface here, all over. And you could see there's like still some remnants where of the finish here, where you could see like small little kind of like rusty looking spots or whatever. Just modding. Anyway, just touch the whole thing all over again. Let's get in here again and just nice. Here we go. Very distinctive is this channel along the top here. And there were some versions of it for other countries or something that didn't have that. You'll see that if you look around in books or you really do a lot of research on these, you'll see some of them didn't have this cutout along the top, this scallop. And then, yeah, now it's this part. Oosh. See, what you have to do is, it locks in with that. See that right there? So that kind of, here, I could do it, hold on. I could do it out of here. This kind of locks in right there. That's what this part is for. Locks in that gap right there, locks in that hook. So what you have to do is, this goes flat on top of here, but you see it won't sit down until it gets up here. It won't sit all the way. Sorry. What exactly is going on here? Yeah, so if this is in position, right, because the spring is in the way now. See, without the spring, it'll fit flush, see? Flat. Then as soon as we go to put the spring in here, it's not going to go because of that piece. So now it won't fit flush. See, it's going to leave a gap. So this has to be pushed all the way in, past this point, so that hook, you could push this piece behind that hook, and then you push the barrel down and it hooks it in. But of course you can't push it behind. See, they leave this little, see that little cutout right there? That's for some kind of tool that's made for this purpose, but we don't have that. So I cut this pen cap out to kind of look like that. So what you want to do here is I'm going to shoot this across the room. You're going to be here with me for the loss of this piece. It's the last you're ever going to see it. So you want to be ready, right, like that. And then you want it to be in the right position. By the way, this has a serial number, 982. And is that the 932? Sorry, it's 932. Yeah, this is the original one, too. Well, that's even more horrible to lose. Because even if I get another one of these, this is serial number to the gun. All right, a lot of pressure here now. In more ways than one. And I have to get it on camera. All right, oh, this thing is like, well, it's like this used to be stiffer and it's all mushy now. See, like I've used it so many times. I've seen guys do it with like a screwdriver, but I'm hesitant to be gouging. A smart guy would, talk a little bit more about this gun and bid you guys adieu. But you know what C and Arsenal did was he took a little a fitting, like a plumbing fitting, those little brass plumbing fittings, those things you would weld on to weld pipe to pipe, I think. It's a plumbing fitting that looks similar to this, like this size. So it fit right up against there, and he cut out a little insert in it like I did, so it's brass. And then he's like, bang, he's just putting it together like 1, 2, 3. That might be what the tool that originally did this looked like. But yeah, it looks like this is used up its final reassembly. Let's try it one more time. Oh, it's just so stiff. It's just so stiff. We can't leave the video off like this, can we? Really? What are we? We're 24 minutes in. I've given you barely any information, and I'm just going to fail at putting it together and sign off. That'll be the end of this channel as we know it. Come on. All right, how are we going to do this? Let's see. You know, I was also thinking too about like certain brass, like if I could use like, look, like right up here, see we got like a 45 brass, but it's just a hair too small. See, like it won't fit around. Oh, it does fit around the barrel. Let me see something. 45 brass does fit around the barrel. So if I could I get this on? Let's see if I could do this and still get it on film. I know you guys are like ducking because it would shoot right in your face, right? Let's see if I could get this. Oh my God, that actually worked. A 45 shell casing did it. You were here to witness that, my friends. All right, call the press. Actually, don't. Who needs the press? I hate the press. Okay, let's do the rest of this. That was highly successful. And then that goes in here. The screw goes here. Boom. Boom. Nice. All right, so what else do we have for you guys? I think that's about it. Let's not go any further and mess this video up. I'm still here with you guys. You know what it is? It's COVID. It's everything. I can't even go to the range. I can't get any ammo. There's lines outside the gun stores that everybody just looking for a, Ruger Mini 14. I mean, it's like just literally lines. This whole hobby for me was always something very quiet, poke around little stores and go to gun shows and walk around and look at tables full of junk and everything. It's like, it's just all that is gone. And it's just me and what I own. And sure, I'm sure I could think up of videos to just do videos on the stuff that I have and just, different little aspects and comparisons and things like that. But it's like this whole hobby is just kind of like, it's just kind of like Taken 5. You know what I mean? And YouTube has its own issues too. They're not gun friendly. They're just not friendly. Forget about what they're friendly or not friendly to. It just doesn't feel like they're a partner. You know what I mean? So that's a little tough too, knowing what to be able to do here, what you can, what you can't. But I was able to bring this guy here to you today. I haven't even shot this thing yet. It's kind of like, I bought it within the last 6 months or something, but haven't even been able. What was that? The whole house just shook. Oof. Haven't even been to the range. But the thing with these is they get weak, weak action springs. You know what I mean? Not the action spring. This is definitely tight enough. I mean, like the striker fire spring, it gets weak, and this one is. See, that's plenty snappy. See what's weird is it clicks as you pull. It's kind of like acts like a double action trigger mechanism, but for a single action. And there's different versions of these that have these weird disconnectors. You got to be careful with this thing. It could if you have a round chambered and you open this, it could go off because it could release. It's just weird. There's a lot of things to be careful with this gun. It's like you want to just kind of load the magazine when you cycle it. You definitely want to make sure you have it pointed downrange. And you shoot some rounds, and that's it. That's not a gun to mess with. It's old, and it's around the inception of semi-automatic guns, so the sear and how it operates and the disconnector, they're kind of odd. They're not your conventional design, and the reason why you don't see this design really now is because it might not have really worked all that well back then. So it's one of those old ones that you got to watch out for. It's not old using the same designs we use now. It's kind of like if you go back and you drive in a car from a long ago enough period, you got to really be careful. They have single reservoir master cylinders, and like they don't have the same types of they don't have the improvements that we've made. Now, if you're driving a car from 1976 or something, it's not that much of a difference from a car from 1996, but you go back this far with guns and you just kind of watch it. There's some weird stuff going on now, but lanyard ring, solid, like this company, this Rheinisch Metallwaren and Maschinenfabrik, they were like a machining company, like a steel, basically steel. And man, is this gun is made out of some superior, supremo steel, man. You could feel it just holding it and just manipulating it, that it's like really good steel, but the mechanism, you gotta watch yourself. It'd be a little odd. It has its little idiosyncrasies, so you gotta pay attention. So, but I definitely, I'm convinced that it's going to shoot. And as soon as I get out there to the range, I'm going to do a video with it. And I'm going to post it, just because I like to have a video of me shooting the guns that I'm doing things on here. But I just, one of the reasons why I was waiting, just can't get down there. And now we are over half an hour. So it feels good to be back. I could go another half an hour. I really can. And it's good to get the blood flowing again. Maybe I'll get out some stuff, think up of some comparisons for some new stuff to like yak about, and post a few videos up there. And until then, you all take care, be safe, and I'm sure we'll be able to be hugging each other soon. I have a feeling that hugs are coming back. And until then, we'll see you all later at the Milsurp Garage.
Yes,